this work, hey, hey. Just give it up some time, just give it up some space, just give it up some time.
Mike first became a fan of singer-songwriter Jason Mraz when he saw him play at Java Joe's in Ocean Beach.
And a sister, she got a little bit of mister.
Jason was hoping to break out of the coffee shop scene and turned to Mike to play one of his songs on the radio.
Was it you who spoke the words that things would happen, but not to me?
And I actually think it came on between like Air and a Rage Against the Machine song. So it was this really trippy, like electronica, and then my version of pop rock, and then, you know, Rage, you know. It was just a great mix, and I was like, wow, there it was. There was my moment, you know. I've never been excited about radio since, you know. It's like that was the highlight.
Since then, Jason's become a regular on Mike's Sunday night radio shows.
I would come in and I got to guest DJ one night, and I was always putting my live performances in on it, and any chance I could get in here to have fool with some of the DJs, I would.
Jason gives Mike a lot of credit for helping him get his big break.
It was Mike's belief in me from his seeing the shows that he put it on the radio that industry folks started to come down then and see, well, who's this unsigned guy on the radio? Let's go see his shows. And it was only a few months later that I got signed.
Now he's soaking in the success and finding new ways to develop his music, a lesson he learned from Mike.
He was always great about bringing bands together and seeing how they'd react and crossing genres and doing whatever. And so in that, he's also like a mentor, because he's like, hey, don't have competition between bands, integrate your bands and integrate your music. Having somebody like Mike in my business is just been one of those little angels that hides in the little dark corners of the industry.
Your advice, and I'm looking on the bright side and balancing the whole thing. Oh, but it all
Other artists that you found who hit it big?
This kid called Jason Mraz, who was playing, ironically enough, same place that Jewel got her start, but Java Joe had moved from Poway into Ocean Beach.
Yeah.
And he was in OB, and we stumbled down there to see him, watched him, had him come up play live on 92.1 back then. This is probably 7 years ago. And, you know, the guy's gone on to do some pretty amazing things.
And we have to talk about one more. Now, I know you didn't discover this person, but it's our friend Anya, who is another person who you've had a long association with, worked at several radio stations with you, and is just starting to hit it big. I mean, she's got such a magnificent voice and personality, and finally, after all these years, somebody's figuring it out.
It's funny, it'll be 10 years ago in June, she first came to San Diego, and she applied for a job. And the ironic thing is, after I was offered the 4 hours a week at $40 with 91X, that's all I could offer her back in those days. And she decided to take the chance, and she moved down here. She was cleaning houses, I think, for some guy. She was doing, you know, odd jobs here and there to make enough money to survive while she was getting her, you know, 4 to 8 hours a week on the radio in. And at that point, I found out she actually played in a band up in the Bay Area. And we kind of forced her into, you know, picking up her guitar and starting to write songs and going out and performing. So Anya's been, I've known her for 10 years now. And it's been, it's funny because I look at her and I wish she would age.
Right. It's terrible,
She was 12, I think, when she got here.
Exactly.
So annoying.
So you're going along great at 91X, and it still is, at the time, in the mid-90s, the powerhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And then something called the Telecommunications Act of 1996 happens. And all of us at the time read it and think, well, this is okay, this is pretty good, this is more choice for people, and yeah.
Well, I thought the way they foisted it upon the public was, your cable bill is going to go down,
yeah,
because there'll be more choice out there. And
right.
I thought, anything to make my cable bill go down. So next thing I know, it passes, and not like a month after it passes, we have this meeting at 91X that we are going to be folded into this other company called J-Corps. They basically came in and took over the radio station like almost overnight. And literally like 3 weeks later, I was staring down the barrel of a shotgun. No.
Yeah.
So I left.
Then comes kind of the roller coaster. I mean, period of years where you were just doing this.
Yeah. Off the radio for 3 months, back on KUPR 8 months.
You went to New York for a little bit in there?
I actually went to New York right after I left 91X. They were looking for an afternoon guy on the Howard Stern station at the time, K-Rock in New York. And I was suggested to go there. And I remember I went there and I thought, yeah, maybe I could do New York. I'd been in San Diego at that point for, 10-something years. And I thought, New York wouldn't be that bad. But I watched that movie Kids. And my son was probably about 3 years old at that time. And all I had was this vision in my head of Declan, my son, who's now 14, turning out to be like one of these New York, I can't even say what these kids are saying in the movie because it's really quite alarming. Yeah, quite profane. But it was just, if you ever watch the movie, I just imagined my kid, who I thought was going to, ride a skateboard and, swim and play water polo and do these things. I suddenly imagined him turning out to be like a little,
Hood.
One of the Beastie Boys. Who I still love.
So you come back, you do KUPR, that gets sold. You get sucker punched at 92.5.
Yeah, that was probably, never saw that one coming. Same deal. Basically, I went to work for a record label for a short time.
Yeah. Why 107 in LA?
That was a lot of fun while that lasted. It was almost too short. We gave K-Rock a little bit of a run for their money.
Then the two stations, the Orange County, and was that 92.1?
92.1 and 94.3 up in Orange County.
And then this place happens. It was KBest 95, right?
Yeah, it was KBest 95. And at the time, the funny thing was, it was doing oldies at the time, and we launched this station almost 5.5 years ago. And the crazy part about it is, it's the dream job. It really is the dream job. If I got a band in there for 45 minutes, like we had at Coachella, I think I talked on the air to Mick Jones of The Clash for like 45 minutes straight. Nobody comes in and goes, "Why aren't you playing a song? Our ratings are going." Like normal stations, they'd be freaking out about this.
Right, you're deviating from the format.
What are you doing? It's like, but none of that was happening. It's kind of like they just understand that radio needs to be done in a real way. Back to John Peel. It's like two people sitting in a room talking about music, having a conversation with somebody. Garrett once said that I don't interview bands. I just I have conversations with them and let people listen in on the conversation. But it's just, that's what it really kind of comes down to. We try to be real. We try to be honest. We've got that 60s ethic of what original rock radio was all about. The 70s before it got turned into like the formatted crap it turned into. And, I guess the thing is we try to keep all the crap off the radio.
'Cause you and I both love